right, so hey guys, this is Rollie Mason with Mejaro Inspection Services. We're on inspections today, our channel, and I've got Nate Koontz with me. Nate's with Koontz Roofing and Exteriors. How's it going, Nate?
It's fantastic.
Fantastic, right. So I've got him here today because I wanted to get more detailed on roofs. You know, when we do inspections, we're up on roofs. As long as we can get up there, we're on them. But we want to talk about, you know, things we're looking at. But that's why we got Nate here, the expert, to talk about things he's capturing as well, some things that he wants to review as well when he's there. And so this is just a quick video to talk about some of those items and help point out for homeowners at home or folks thinking about buying a house, things they should be looking out for. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Awesome.
Yeah, guys, we'll kind of go over things I look for whenever I look on a roof to kind of determine about the condition. It can be tough to tell how old a roof is or how many years it's got left, but we can go over some stuff that just kind of tell us if it's due for replacement, what kind of condition it's in, and overall health.
All right, so we're on the roof now, and normally with us, we're looking at stuff. We're looking for things like the wear on the shingles, like the granule wear. We're looking for things like maybe discoloration, cracked shingles, damage. We're looking for impact stuff, maybe from debris or other things. We're looking at valleys. We're also looking at flashing, which is huge. But at the end of the day, as we're going through and checking all this and trying to review it, we gotta recommend Koontz, because we try to get Nate out there to give him the actual expert advice on what to do, because you can see there's a lot of granules missing and things of that nature, cracked, broken shingles. We want the home buyer to know exactly what they're getting into and when to kind of expect maybe to deal with the roof. So I don't know, Nate, what are you seeing on this roof?
So when I get up on the roof, especially this one's kind of nice because you have a direct north slope and a direct south slope. And generally speaking, here in Indiana, the south takes the brutal part of the sun during the summertime. And the truth is, sun is actually the harshest thing on the shingles. It will heat up the asphalt. When the asphalt heats up and then cools off, heats up, cools off, it loosens the granules. So a lot of times the south side, much like this roof, you see a lot of granule loss.
Yeah, you see this is throughout patterns here.
Bare asphalt showing through. A lot of times the edges of the shingles will show a lot of fiberglass.
Sure, like right in here you get some of that.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. So that would give you some indication that the roof has probably been there for a while. You usually don't see that in the first 10 years of the shingle life. Depending on the quality of shingle that was put on there in the first place, if it was kind of a baseline asphalt shingle, we've seen 15-year-old roofs that were, sold as 35-year-old roofs that look a lot like this. And as you can see, it really didn't hold up. The other thing I look for on the north side is how much algae we have going on. This one is pretty much fully covered in algae. Mine is just below the vents here. That's pretty common. There's elements in the metal that will prevent algae from growing. A lot of times zinc or copper, if it washes out on the roof, will prevent the algae. So this is common, but most of this roof is on the north side here is covered in algae. Now that being said,
can I ask you about that?
Yes.
There's two things you may see a lot of on our reports, right? And we'll hit it a lot. There's algae, and then there's moss buildup.
Yes.
Now, which of those are more which of those are harsher on a roof? I know you can speak to that, of course, but I think most people need to learn this one.
Yeah. So algae is the least harmful thing that we really deal with. It looks ugly, and especially if the north side of the house is the first thing you see when you pull up. A lot of homeowners don't want to see that when they pull into their driveway. But that being said, it's kind of the least of the worries. It will eat away at the shingles over the course of a long time, but honestly, most people get a roof replacement before it ever becomes a serious issue. Moss, on the other hand, and if you'll notice here on the northwest corner of this slope, moss will actually pull the granules off if the moss gets washed off. A lot of times, if you look underneath the tree, like if you have an overhanging tree on the roof and there's some moss, a lot of times you'll see spots where granules are missing, where the moss has come off and maybe pulled some of the granules with it. Some of this stuff here, if I pull some of this moss off, you're going to start seeing spots. This is fully adhered, but it does eat away. Moss is a lot more harsh on the shingles than just pure algae. This one has a little bit of moss, not a ton. I've seen a lot of roofs fully covered by trees that there's tons of moss, and you'll see big bare spots where the moss has come off and pulled the granules with it.
Well, I just want to talk about your contrast, what you're talking about north and south real quick, because you look at these shingles here, they're in pretty good shape, and you get just over the ridge on the south side.
Yeah.
And just look at the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So
yeah, where we sit in Indiana, based on where we are in the planet in the summertime, this is the hottest part of the sky, really. So the south slope takes that brutal, harsh sunlight all day in the summer, and that's why you'll see on the south side and sometimes the west side as well, as you get that afternoon sun, those shingles are going to lose their granules long before the north or the east side does. Even if the east side is exposed, the morning sun here in Indiana isn't near as harsh as the afternoon.
it doesn't heat up enough to get it. I wanted to ask you about flashing, like around vent pipes, things of that nature. We're looking at things like the rubber for deterioration. We're looking to see if it's no longer laying flat, if it's sealed well with the nails or nails at the bottom, make sure that's sealed, anything like that. What are you looking for when you're coming up on these?
So pretty much the same thing. We look at this area right here to see if this is dry rotted or cracked.
Yeah.
A lot of times they'll start splitting right here. In fact, this one's starting to get a little bit of split,
edge,
not in the best condition. I know it gets brought up a lot. Caulking nail heads, that's kind of not super concerning. It can be, but at the end of the day, roofing products, for the most part, if you put a roofing nail in, it's got a flat head. So a lot of times, especially on shingles, the design of it all is to where that nail goes in, the asphalt kind of seals around the nail head. Yes, exposed nail heads are something to bring up, usually easy fix, just put some new caulking on there, but kind of not something I get super concerned with. I look more at cracking, dry rot. Here on this roof, we've had a repair around this vent, and the truth is these vents, bathrooms, range hoods over kitchens, this is called a Brone vent. The design is to prevent leaks, but at the end of the day, they're just vulnerable, and leaks around these types of vents are pretty common.
I'm glad you brought it up. I want to ask you about this so much as just bring it up. So you see how this was installed. They didn't put anything through these holes at the bottom because mainly you don't want to put more holes in the roof, right?
Exactly.
You've got to secure it up here. So why do it there and have to worry about it?
Right. I've always kind of wondered why they put nail holes down there, because when we install these, we try to put a nail here and a nail here, or in the top corner, nothing down the sides, because as water rushes down here, it's going to shoot off to the sides, left and right. We also standard practice now, which is new-ish anyway, is we'll put this down, we'll shingle up, put this down, and then we try to put some ice and water shield around this and on top of these shingles, so that you basically have a wider area to where if water does hit and shoot off to the side, it's going to hit that ice and water shield and run on down on top of the shingle.
Miss any holes that are there?
Yes.
Okay. Where do you want ice and water shield on a roof? Where is it most common? And
so we put ice and water shield in valleys. Every valley, which I'm pretty sure is building code in pretty much every Indiana county now. We also put it around all the gutter lines. Some counties in Indiana, that is also building code. Monroe County, it is not code to put it on the east.
okay.
But we do, and most reputable roofing companies do. Valleys, gutter lines, around penetrations in the roofs. And then this roof does not have any wall lines, but if you have areas where your roof hits a wall where you've got step flashing or some sort of wall flashing, we also put something there. Try to run it up the wall a little bit and back out onto the roof to just add a little bit of protection.
Okay. Is there anything else you're seeing on this roof that we should be looking out for? Homeowners should be wary of when they're on the roof checking it out.
Yeah, no, this one's pretty simple roof plan. You got one valley, some hips, obviously a south-facing slope. This would be the biggest thing I would bring up if I came out to inspect it. There's a lot of granule loss on the south slope. A lot of algae coverage, which to me says this roof is probably pushing 20-ish years old. Like, I try not to throw numbers out there too much.
Yeah.
But if I was to look at it, I'd be like, this is at least 15, if not 20 years old. It's probably time to start thinking replacement. There's nothing really that says, oh my gosh, it has to be done now. But it is time to start thinking about it. And if I was talking to a homeowner, I would tell them, look, you need to start budgeting for this, because it's about, the shingles have lived their life pretty much.
Okay. All right, so that wraps up. I think it's a lot of good information, and that's why we wanted to bring in Nate, because he's our top guy. We go to him no matter what situation we're dealing with. He's always our referral, so I really appreciate you being here and sharing some knowledge with the folks.
Absolutely.
You guys don't just do roofs, though. Make sure you tell them what else you guys do.
We're a full exteriors company for the most part. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, gutters. I usually tell homeowners everything outside minus decks and bricks. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Lots of knowledge. Really appreciate it.